A new season for Formula One with a new tyre supplier working to a radical new brief.
Over the past few years, the best races we've seen have been races where there's been a lot of tyre degradation. So we have lots of pit stops and increased strategy and intrigue for the spectators.
With the main competition coming from Michelin, Pirelli won the 3-year sole provider contract and was told to provide tyres far less durable than the ones Bridgestone had supplied over the past 4 seasons.
We got the window to have in between 15 and 25 laps, not more.
We accepted this because, to come back to Formula One for us was so important.
After a 20-year absence, the lure of an F1 return for the world's 5th largest tyre company is understandably strong. Last year, around 1.9 billion viewers watched F1, the highest number since 2006, and it remains second only to the NFL in annual viewership.
Over the last few years, we've seen the levels return to the late 90s, early 2000s. Since the last year against the previous year, we've seen an increase of 10% in viewership.
Pirelli's dipped in and out of F1's World Championship since 1950, but now it's having to play catch-up. 5 other tyre manufacturers have claimed more F1 victories than the Milan-based company which made its first foray into motor racing in 1907. Pirelli's HQ is actually built around this lovely old country house. It's been here since the 15th century, long time. But the time period between Pirelli winning the Formula One contract and the first race of the 2011 season, not very long at all, just 9 months.
It was awful, awful. We got the green light end of June, and then we were on the test track in August.
The 19th of August, I will remember for all my life the first tyres on the circuit in Mugello.
The brief was to provide a range of 6 tyres that would degrade at various rates. But testing was plagued by bad weather, and while the tyre supplier gets detailed information on the different surfaces, speeds and temperatures offered up by F1's 20 tracks, it is impossible to replicate race conditions.
What is another variable is the number of cars running all together that are making also a sort of rubberizing surface during Friday, Saturday and Sunday races. This is possible only during the races.
Initially, at least, approval from certain drivers has been somewhat guarded.
They wear pretty quickly, so they degrade and you have no grip. So you've got to be careful of that.
Drivers never like it when their tyres go off and they have a lack of grip. It just slows them down.
With the season now underway, the tyres, which shed around 20% of their weight in a racing stint, have had a dramatic effect.
In Malaysia, we saw a high number of tyre stops. We saw 56 tyre changes in all, which is a huge number for a Formula One race.
Meanwhile, there were 63 passing manoeuvres at the Chinese Grand Prix, reportedly the highest number in 20 years for F1 in dry conditions. But an Istanbul Grand Prix delivering over 80 pit stops fueled concerns that tyres are artificially creating race conditions that are gimmicky and confusing for both spectators and teams.
They're maybe not understanding someone going back and then coming up again, going back. It's going to be a bit interesting, even from the cockpit side. It's going to be hard to know who is where.
Too confusing for the people that have not understood how to manage and how to profit about this situation.
You can say it's artificial, but really every sport has elements of things that are brought in to add to the excitement. I think this is just it's a more natural way of doing it than, say, perhaps the movable rear wing, which is artificially increasing overtaking.
50 staff will deliver around 1,800 tyres to each Grand Prix, and unlike in the past where tyre manufacturers paid to be F1 suppliers, every team will pay Pirelli €1.25 million a season.
It is basically bringing to zero the variable expenses over the year.
However, exactly how the tyres will perform on each circuit is still unknown, and so the deal remains a risky proposition for a company chasing the fast-developing premium markets that F1 specialises in reaching.
with the emerging nations such as China, India, Russia, the Middle East. There is a huge potential in developing high-performance tyres. The beauty of Formula One is that it actually transcends all those different demographics.
And despite an exciting start to the season, given that the lion's share of the company's car tyres are sold in the premium market, some still question the public relations wisdom of showcasing a fast-wearing product.
It's not necessarily the best PR for your tyres, especially when you've got drivers sitting there saying my tyres went off really quickly.
And in a sport that since its earliest days has striven to reinvent itself every year, this extreme performance means no one's quite sure who's going to be the real winner when it comes to changing tyres.
They're proving the biggest challenge, I suppose, to get used to, and that's going to be the biggest difference to years gone by.